right, guys, let's go ahead and do this one. This one is a little bit harder, but it's okay. We're gonna get this together. So if you struggled a little bit with this one, that is okay. Some of them even took me a minute to figure out. So this is the Unit 9 independent practice one that we're gonna do. Let's start with number 1. Number 1 says, Sadie buys 6 boxes of chocolate stars to give her teachers for Teacher Appreciation Week. The total cost of the chocolate stars is shown below. And then it has the money down here to show the total cost. How much does Sadie spend for 1 box of chocolate stars? And then you have your answer choices. So this is a good one to do cubes on. I'm not gonna take the time to do it just because I don't want you to have to sit through a really long video on a school night. But I will post a video just about cubes one of these days. So we need to figure out what's going on here. It says she buys 6 boxes of chocolates. So she buys that many boxes of chocolates, and then it says the total cost of the chocolate stars is there. How much did she spend for just 1 box? So they're giving me the total. I have to count it up, it's down there. Each box is gonna cost the same thing because they're boxes of chocolate, right? So they're not gonna charge different amounts for the same thing. So we have equal groups that we are splitting apart. So when I'm given the total and I have equal groups to take apart, that is division. So when we do problems like this, we can do it in more than one way. So I'm gonna show you the one way that made a lot of sense to you guys earlier today. So I have 6 boxes of chocolate, so I'm gonna draw my boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's my 6 boxes of chocolates. And then my total amount spent was $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8. So I spent $8, and I have some coins. These are dimes because I can tell by the face, but they look rather large. I can look down here to see what makes the most sense. So 10, 20, 30, 40. So I have 40 cents. So I can go ahead and divide this up into my 6 boxes to find out how much each box is. We talked earlier about the different symbols of what they mean, and we know that this right here means 1 whole. This means 1/10. And just a little guy right there is 1/100th. So I have 8 holes, so I'm gonna do my 8 holes split up. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I have 2 more holes, but I can't just randomly put them anywhere. It has to be equal, so I'm gonna have to make those tenths. So in 1 hole, I have 10 tenths. So I have 2 holes, so I have 20 tenths, and I already have 4 tenths there. So 20 plus 4 is now 24 tenths that I have to split up into these 6 boxes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So if this is right for our models, each box would have a cost of about, I have 1 whole, so $1, and it looks like 4 tenths. So, and I can add a 0 at the end of anything after the last number in a decimal because it doesn't mean anything, it just is a 0 place value. Each box would be $1.40, which makes sense. But I could also have done this the standard way. So I could have done 6 divided into $8.40. $8.40 would be my dividend, 6 would be my divisor, and my answer would be my quotient. We know for decimals and division, for the decimal, we just, poof, goes right up, right where it already was. But we have to be careful when we take out our groups that it goes right above the number that we took it out of. So 6 taken out of 8, we can only take 1 group of 6 from 8, so I'm going to write 1, subtract my 6, I have 2, bring down the 4. How many groups of 6 can I take out of 24? We'll count by 6s, 6, 12, 18, 24, that's 4. 4 times 6 is 24. and bring down my 0, and that's 0 again. So I got the same answer twice, $1.40. If I wanted to check my work, I could go ahead and multiply $1.40 by 6, and if I got $8.40, I would know that I was right. I'm going to save the time on doing that because we do that in class, but your answer should have been C. Okay, moving on to the next. Chelsea spent the same amount of time writing in a journal every day for 14 days. So every day for 14 days, we have equal groups of 14 days. Okay. She wrote in the journal for a total of 3 5/10 hours, as shown in the diagram below. So we have 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, and then we have 5/10. Does that make sense? How much time did Chelsea spend writing in the journal each day? So my total is 3 5/10. So this would be my dividend because I'm dividing that up into my 14 days, and this would be my divisor. So let's go ahead and do this. I have 14, and I'm dividing that into 3 5/10. Okay, and we know that my decimal and division just comes straight up. So 14 cannot go into 3 at all. So put a 0, 0 times 14 is 0, subtract, and I get my 3, bring down my 5. Let's go ahead and do my toolbox. That's 14 times 1 is 14. 14 times 2 is, we know we can add 14, so that'd be 28, or we could just do the multiplication. 14 times 3, if we want to do the multiplication, you just do this. 14 times 3 is 12, 4, 42. So already I went too far, so I have to do 2. Subtract my 28. That's 2. 15 minus 8 is 7. I can add a 0 on the end to decimals because it makes no difference. 14 times 4, let's just go ahead and add 14 on, and that's, let's see, 6, 56, and then 14 times 5 is, 70. We got our number. So 570. So 2,500. So if I multiply 2,500 times 14, I get this number. I know I got it right. Let's see if that's one of our choices. And it is, so J should have been my answer. Number 3. A waiter equally divided 1 kilogram of butter into 100 individual servings. Okay, I'm going to stop right there because they're trying to confuse you. It is very confusing. They have 1 kilogram, so it's basically saying I had 1 whole, and that's just what we've been doing. I have 1 whole, and they split it into 100 servings. Well, so then they took it and they made it into the little 100 boxes that we keep seeing, just like this one. So split it into 100 servings, just like that. He put 12 servings of butter at the banquet table. So it's no longer 12 because it's actually 12 pieces of the 100 from the 1, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put a decimal there because it's actually 12 hundredths. He divided the remaining butter equally among the 22 small tables in the restaurant. Those are wholes because these are 22 small tables. It has nothing to do with the 1 serving that he cut into 100 pieces. The shaded diagram represents the part of the kilogram of butter placed on the small tables. So there's a few parts to this. First, we had 100 individual servings, and then he put 12 of them at a banquet table, and then divided the rest into small tables. So I need to go ahead and take 100 and subtract my 12. We should put the decimal at the end, or we're going to get the wrong thing. And I'll explain that more tomorrow. So that'd be 0, 10, 9, 10. That's 8, 88. So it'd be 88 hundredths. Okay? 88 hundredths. So we have 88 hundredths. And that makes sense because now if I count this up, that's 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, and 8 hundredths. So that's exactly what that's representing. So I know I'm right so far. Yay. And I'm dividing that up onto the 22 small tables. And I need to figure out what that is. So if I take that number and I divide it, it would look like this. This would be my dividend, 8,800 divided by the 22. Bring my decimal up, okay? 22 into 0 is 0 times, so that's 0. Bring down the 8. I can't do that. So 22 taken out of 8 groups, it's not possible. I'm gonna go ahead and put 0. Bring down my other 8. And then I have 22, let's see. That's pretty easy to kind of see because 22 times 2 is 44, times 3 is 66, so times 4 is 88. All right. So that would mean that I took 0 and 8,800 divided up in the 22 tables and I had 400ths left over. I'm just going to double check this to make sure that I'm right because some of these are a little bit confusing. I don't want to confuse you more. And that is correct. So my answer should have been D. And the last one, number 4. Dexter buys 5 pounds of pecans for $25.50. To find the cost of each pound, Dexter begins to draw an area model. Dexter is not sure how to finish the area model, which is Dexter's unknown number. So they're doing an area model, and from older grades, you should, or the last grade that you're in, you should remember that area is length times width. So right here, he shows us the total amount is that, and then he splits it up between the whole and the decimal. So he has 5 times 5 is 25, and that's right. So now we have to account for the cents. So what are we gonna multiply to keep this at 50 cents? Well, if we multiply by 1/10, that would change this value. So we can't do that. The only thing that's gonna keep this the same would be 1. So if we had 1 here, that would make the most sense. So it should be G. And we're gonna talk about a few of these more tomorrow, but just so you have a general understanding.